Hello everyone. In our previous lecture, we have discussed a point called rectifier. Okay, and also we have studied two types of rectifier circuits. First is half wave rectifier, and the another is full wave rectifier. Okay, the construction and the working of half wave rectifier as well as full wave rectifier is clear to you, because in our this lecture we are going to see further circuits which is going to uh, modify our rectifier output into some pure AC or pure DC form. Okay, so we know that our rectifier output is not purely DC. Okay, I have drawn an input and output waveform of full wave rectifiers. Okay. This is output wave of full wave rectifiers. What happens when a positive half cycle is going on? Diode B1 becomes forward bias and it conducts the current through load resistors. Therefore, we get an output like this. When negative half cycle is going on, diode D2 becomes forward bias and again we get an output such that this, and this process goes on repeating. So we get an output like this. Okay, but the diagram clarifies that this output is not purely DC, because there is some ripple. Okay, ripple means an AC component into DC component is called ripple. Okay, so in this chapter or in this lecture, we are going to study how to overcome or how to reduce or how to remove the unnecessary AC component from the DC component. Okay, or from the rectifier output. Okay, okay. So to remove an AC component from DC component, we need a circuit, okay, which is called a filter circuit. Which is called a filter circuit. Okay. First, we can define simply what is filter circuit. A filter circuit is a circuit which removes an unnecessary AC voltage or AC component from DC component. Okay, this is the definition of filter. आपल्याला माहिती आहे आपण रोज वॉटर फिल्टर वगैरे आवर हाऊसहोल्ड आपल्या घरगुती उपयोगासाठी आपण वॉटर फिल्टर वगैरे यूज करतो. फिल्टर कशासाठी यूज केलं जातं की पाण्यातून येणारे अनावश्यक घटक फिल्टर करण्यासाठी म्हणजे काढून टाकण्यासाठी जे यूज केलं जातं त्याला आपण फिल्टर म्हणतो. ओके, सो in electronics or in semiconductor devices, the filter circuit works similarly to the water filter. Okay. So we'll discuss construction and working of filter circuits. First, there are many filter circuits available, such as capacitor filter, resistor filter, pi filter, etc. But in our syllabus, we are going to study only a capacitor filter. So let's discuss the construction of capacitor filter. Here, the input or the AC input is connected to the rectifier circuit. We are going to use a full wave rectifier. Okay, and the output of rectifier circuit is connected to the capacitor. The output of rectifier is connected to capacitor. and the load resistance is connected in parallel with capacitor. Okay, आपण काय म्हणू शकतो, रेक्टिफायरचं आउटपुट हे कॅपॅसिटर फिल्टरच्या इनपुटला कनेक्ट केलेलं आहे किंवा फुल वेव्ह रेक्टिफायरचं आउटपुट म्हणजेच कॅपॅसिटर फिल्टरचं इनपुट असणार. ओके, सो लेट्स डिस्कस द वर्किंग ऑफ दिस कॅपॅसिटर फिल्टर. ओके, नाउ when diode D1 conducts, म्हणजेच काय हे बघा, ड्यूरिंग पॉझिटिव्ह हाफ सायकल डायोड D1 फॉरवर्ड बायस मध्ये जाईल आणि तो करंट कंडक्ट करतो. इथं बघा, इथं काय होतंय, रेक्टिफायरचा आउटपुट म्हणजे डायोड D1 कंडक्ट झाल्यानंतर आपल्याला मिळणारं व्होल्टेज, आउटपुट व्होल्टेज कसं असणार आहे, असं. ओके, I've drawn it and it has a dotted curve. Okay, this is an output we have got from a rectifier circuit when diode D1 connects. Okay, so at same time what happens, the capacitor C charges up to point A, up to point A. Due to this voltage, due to this output voltage, we get at an output of rectifier. Okay, या रेक्टिफायरच्या आउटपुट व्होल्टेज मुळे काय होतंय, हा कॅपॅसिटर चार्ज होतो अप टू पॉइंट A, which is a peak voltage, which is a peak voltage, means it is a maximum voltage. Then what happens, इथं बघा काय म्हणलं, when a voltage goes on decreasing, voltage काय म्हणलं, डिक्रीज व्हायला, आउटपुटचं व्होल्टेज डिक्रीज होताना this capacitor gets or starts discharging through a load resistance RL. काय होतंय, ज्यावेळी व्होल्टेज कमी व्हायला चालू होते त्यावेळी कॅपॅसिटर डिस्चार्ज व्हायला चालू होतो थ्रू RL and the voltage across RL goes on decreasing up to point B. काय होतंय, कॅपॅसिटर डिस्चार्ज व्हायला चालू झाल्यानंतर व्होल्टेज अक्रॉस RL, लोड रेझिस्टन्सच्या अक्रॉस असणारा आपलं आउटपुट व्होल्टेज सुद्धा काय होतंय, कमी व्हायला चालू. But at the same time, what happens, next cycle बघा, डायोड D2 कंडक्ट झाल्यामुळं आपल्याला आउटपुटला मिळणारी दुसरी सायकल काय करते, त्याच वेळेला इमिजिएटली परत कॅपॅसिटर चार्ज करते. Therefore it reaches at point C, means it acquires a voltage equal to peak voltage. Okay, so what happens, during next cycle capacitor immediately charges and the voltage across RL goes on increasing up to point C. Again, when the voltage goes on decreasing, capacitor again starts decreasing and it decreases up to point D, when suddenly a third cycle charges the capacitor up to point E and the process goes on repeating, means we will get an output of filter like this. Okay, so the output of filter is nearly DC. काय म्हणलं बघा, हे जे आउटपुट ऑफ रेक्टिफायर आहे ते फ्लक्च्युएटिंग आणि याच्यामध्ये जे असणारे रिपल्स आहेत ते जास्त आहेत, बट द आउटपुट ऑफ फिल्टर इज नियरली अ DC आउटपुट. But there are also some AC components in output of a filter circuit. So to remove AC component completely from the DC component is we'll study in our next lecture. Okay, म्हणजे प्युअर DC आउटपुट आपल्याला कसं मिळेल हे आपण आपल्या नेक्स्ट लेक्चर मध्ये. So you have cleared an idea about a filter circuit. What we have discussed today, a filter circuit and a capacitor filter. You get an idea of a filter circuit. Okay, let's stop.